Hello my dear fourth primary students. Our lesson today will be about Unit 2, Plants and Animals. And now let's start. Of course, the world around us is full of animals. Some of them can swim, some can fly, some of them live on land, some of them live in water. Some of them do not have skeletons or backbones, and some do have skeletons or backbones. So our lesson today will be a simple classification for different kinds of animals. And this classification will be about two groups of animals. Number one, vertebrates, the animals with backbones, and invertebrates, the animals without backbones. And let's start with number one, the animals with backbones, the vertebrates. Vertebrates are only 5 families or 5 groups. Number one, fish. Number 2, amphibians. 3, reptiles. 4, mammals. And finally, the birds. Let's start with the fish. The fish live in water. They breathe through gills. They are cold-blooded. But what does it mean, cold-blooded animals? The cold-blooded animals are that kind of animals that do not control their temperature, their body temperature. It changes according to the environment they are in. And then they are covered with scales. They have fins and tail to move in water. And finally, they lay eggs in water. This is how they get their babies. Number 2, the amphibians. They live in water and on land as well. So they have 2 habitats, in water and on land. In water, they breathe through their skin, but on land, they breathe through their lungs. Like fish, they are also cold-blooded animals. Do you remember what does it mean? Excellent. They cannot control their body temperature. Their skin is always moist and wet. They lay eggs in water, only in water. Number 3, reptiles. They live on land only, except for the turtle. It comes and goes between the land and the water, especially if it wants to lay its eggs. It has to get out of the water to lay them on land. They breathe through lungs. They are cold-blooded animals. Their bodies are covered with scales. They have 4 legs, except for the snakes. They do not have any legs. They lay eggs on land. And then the birds, they live on land only and they can fly. But don't forget, the ostrich is the biggest bird, but it does not fly. They breathe through lungs. They are warm-blooded animals. So this is the opposite of cold-blooded animals. They are warm-blooded, means their temperature is always the same. It does not change according to the environment they are in. It's fixed. And then they have feathers and wings to help them to fly. Their beaks are made of bones, and these beaks are, of course, different because not all the birds eat the same food. Some birds eat meat, some birds eat nuts, some birds eat seeds, so their beaks are different. And finally, they lay eggs on land. Let's see the last group, the mammals. The mammals live on land only, except for the blue whales. They breathe through lungs. They are warm-blooded animals. Again, their temperature does not change. Their bodies are covered with hair or fur. They give birth, their females produce milk to feed the babies. They do not lay eggs. And don't forget, people are mammals. Humans are mammals. We are kind of mammals, and the bats are kind of mammals too, but they can fly. The only mammal that can fly is the bat. And now let's practice some questions. Number 1, there are different types of vertebrates. How many vertebrates do we have? Excellent, there are only 5. Vertebrates are animals with a backbones or skeleton. Number 3, mammals are, good job, warm-blooded animals. And now let's match. Bats are the only mammals. We will match it with which one? Excellent, that can fly. The only mammals that can fly. Number 2, amphibians can live. You remember the amphibians? Like the frog and the toad? Yes, they live on land and in water too. Birds don't. Yes, they don't have fur or hair. They have what? Do you remember? Excellent, feathers. And now we have another question. Try to guess the kind of this animal. Its female lays eggs. It's warm-blooded. It's covered with feathers. So which group? Good job, the birds. It has 2 habitats, land and water. It's cold-blooded. It breathes through skin and lungs. So what kind is this animal? Excellent, it's the amphibian. It gives birth. It's warm-blooded. So what kind is this animal or this creature? Let's say creature. Yes, the mammals, because people are mammals, so I can't say only it's animals. No, creature, because we are mammals too. And now let's move to the second group, invertebrates. As we've said, the animals without backbones. So all of them are cold-blooded, and they live on land and in water too. Some of them live on land, and some of them live in water. Let's start with the crabs. They have a hard shell for protection. Allah created a hard shell for them to protect their body. And then we have the jellyfish. They have soft bodies. They don't have skeletons or backbones, as we've said. And then we have the octopus and the squid. But what's the difference? The octopus has 8 legs, but the squid has 10 legs. So this is the difference between them, but both of them have soft bodies. And then we have the snails. Snails have a hard shell, this is the shell, and they move very slowly. And then we have the dragonflies. They can fly very fast. And then we have grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are amazing insects because they can jump very high until a meter high. As we've said, insects have 6 legs. So when I talk about grasshoppers and say about them insects, because they have 6 legs. But what about the spider? Let's count the legs for the spider. Are they 6? No, they are 8. So the spider is not an insect. I don't consider a spider is an insect, but it's another kind. It's called arachnet. Arachnet because it has 8 legs. And now let's practice this. They don't have backbones. So what are these? They don't have backbones. Yes, thank you. Invertebrates. Soft sea animal, it has 8 legs. Pay attention, 8 legs. Yes, excellent. This is the octopus. Number 3, an insect that can jump more than a meter. Yes, grasshopper. It has a shell for protection. Excellent, this is the crab. It has a shell and moves slowly. Which one moves slowly? Yes, this is the snail. And finally, this is your home task. This is your task. Just rearrange these words to have a sentence which is right. Thanks for watching and good luck. you.